Cheetah
and the cheese.
Hope you guys had a great Halloween. Stayed safe. Got a lot of candy. All that good stuff. Dressed up. Made everybody feel happy about themselves that came to your door. Hopefully you gave out a lot of candy to all these little kids still going outside during quarantine and whatnot. But we're back with football, baby. We had an exciting week 8 that happened.
Woo!
I ended up going up 2 more games on the cheese. He ended up, taking some chances this week, and it didn't end up panning out. But there's always next week, baby.
Always next week, baby.
Or even tonight. But I don't think tonight that will differ because, the NFC East is pretty much the worst division in football.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
Before we get to that, are you going to start us off with some good vibes today?
Oh, you want some good vibes real quick? I got it ready. Hey, that's a Trippy Red's new album out too. So people are watching, if you like Trippy, he dropped a new album. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't really listen to Trippy, but it is what it is.
I do.
Yeah, we got somebody coming in here, Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman. Steelers, baby, they ended up pulling it out. Let's go ahead and start with that game since you want to go in and talk about it. Thanks for tuning in, Clark Kent. But I didn't really surprise me and Cheese over here. We're both picking the Steelers. I think Kyle ended up picking the Ravens. And Kyle made a lot of crazy picks, but some of them ended up panning out. The Bengals and Dolphins are 2 of those that he picked, so it is what it is. What's going on, Julian and Tanner? Appreciate you guys showing up, tuning in. I will talk about the Cowboys here in a second. But without further ado, so one of the questions of our forum that we sent out, basically, for you guys to fill out was there going to be more offense, defense, or special teams? I think it was pretty clear that the defense showed up for Pittsburgh, for Baltimore Ravens. Big Ben didn't throw over 200 yards. He didn't rush for over 50 yards. Nobody on the Pittsburgh side. Then, you had Lamar throw those 2 interceptions. One was a pick 6. It was almost like one of the first drives of the game, when Pittsburgh picked it off, took it to the house. It was awesome. You're coming out ready to go, and then Lamar comes back, and he's going to do what he does. He did end up turning the ball over a couple times. There was also a couple of fumbles from Pittsburgh as well. That was a very, very exciting game, so close. And at the end, Lamar ended up having a chance to win it and couldn't put it in the end zone. At the end of the day, I think the better team won. Lamar still got a lot of things to improve on as a quarterback, accuracy-wise, but he's still just a game changer. I enjoyed watching that. What about you, Cheese?
J.K. Dobbins looked good, man, with breaking 113 yards, averaging 7.5 yards a carry. And the thing that it was for me is you can't throw 2 interceptions against a team like Pittsburgh. I don't care who your quarterback is. Like, 2 interceptions against them, 1 a pick 6, and took it to the house. That's hard to come back by. If you take those 2 picks away, obviously it's a totally different ball game. So I'd love to see these 2 guys again. It was a great game. Defense did step up, like we've seen. I've been saying it, podcast after podcast. Steelers defense is beautiful. I love it. And what I did think that, Lamar was giving them some problems at times when he could, but they adjusted. They're great defensive philosophy, dude, and they just got things done, man. I do think the better team won, and they're on a hot streak, man. Steelers are looking good. And to beat the Ravens, I know there was 2 interceptions, but, they're still beating good teams as well. So I think they're legit, man. So I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah. Two guys that I mentioned in the last thing we did on Saturday with our special guest, Kyle. 2 names. T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree. Both had a sack on Lamar. I know they only had 1 each and whatever, but those are game changers. You get one of those big sacks on a big 3rd down or whatever it might have been, and then you put them in a longer situation. So that's huge for Pittsburgh. I just love watching them guys. So
I do think also, too, and I agree with you, I also think Baltimore did a good job as well making plays and getting plays away from them, away from Watt, kind of utilizing that and saying, okay, we know this guy's a beast, so let's try to make our offense work and counter it. So I think they did a decent job trying to do that. But, the dude's still a freaking beast.
Going forward, Steelers looking pretty good. You make the playoffs, 7-0, only undefeated team that I know of. I don't think there's any other undefeated teams
That's it.
left. So more power to you, still Kirk, baby. I like it. Aunt Paula, if you're watching this, congratulations for cheering for a good football team year after year.
You win.
Yeah, you win. Next one that we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and get that one out of the way. Let's talk about what happened to the Packers, Cheese.
Yeah, let's please get it out the way. We got beat by one man, Dalvin Cook, and we could not stop him. I thought our starting linebacker was going to be bad. We had two rookie linebackers in there, and you could tell we were getting gashed. They were reading their keys way too long. They wasn't extending the play by recognizing what the guard's going to do formation-wise and things like that. So we just kept getting gassed. And then also you can tell, too, from that rookie linebacker, like we never took care of the cutback lane. Ever. Every time we would just both of them flow right over top, and linebackers have to play on a string downhill, and that backside linebacker has to be there and make sure that cutback is eliminated. They weren't. They were just flying straight across, and all he had to do, Dalvin Cook, was put a foot in the ground, boom, go back, opposite backside A-hole, and he was gone. And they were doing that over and over and over again. So Dalvin Cook single-handedly whooped us, dude.
Yeah. So, what's going on, Elgin? Thanks for tuning in, man. Tanner's saying you can't stop the run. I agree. Dalvin Cook was saying, feed me. He turned the old Zeke.
Yeah, not with rookie linebackers, too, man. That's crazy. They were like, I don't care about the Smith brothers. We're going to run inside the tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
All game. So
That's kind of offense Minnesota wants to run. They're a run-heavy first football team, take pressure off Kirk Cousins. He didn't even really have to do anything. He was 11 for 14 or something like that. It wasn't a lot of passes that he threw, so he wasn't ever giving the ball back to you guys, which is what he normally does. And the defense for Minnesota, I know Devontae Adams had 3 touchdowns, but man, they were pretty much shut down the run with Jamal. Actually, they didn't do too bad either. It's just a couple big things that happened.
75 yards. I mean, that's not amazing, but I mean, he's not our starting guy, but he's averaging 4.7. AJ's carries that he had, the 5 carries that he had, they were kind of impressive. I mean, I think he's got to get a little bit more confidence in him, but I'm excited about that young running back that we got.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I love watching
him, dude. The tight end.
Yeah,
I'm diamond out of the rough. I'm glad. I mean, it still wasn't enough. We still got our ass whooped. I mean, not whooped, but I mean, we could not stop the run.
If you go watch AJ Dillon's highlights at Boston College, you will be highly impressed. This man is Brandon Jacobs 2.0. Just running people over like he just looks a man amongst boys. So that was a really good pickup for you guys as a rookie. I think he'll end up taking over Aaron Jones' role. Not soon, but eventually. That's how they kind of do that stuff in Green Bay. They like to breed them a little bit more instead of throwing them into the fire. Mm-hmm. And I like that about them too.
Yeah.
AJ got COVID? Who's AJ? Oh, AJ Dillon. That's who we were just talking about. He apparently got COVID, Elgin says. I didn't know that. So
from last night.
You're right. Minnesota came in and shocked us all. If you missed the last one, Kyle was over there making a Halloween impersonation of Michael Myers and how Green Bay was going to slice and kill all the Vikings players. And it ended up backfiring because they came out ready to play. Even with their freaking walk-on cornerbacks, they were still doing a decent
Kyle
job.
Cursed it, man. Kyle cursed it with that bit, dude.
Well, he's a Vikings fan, so he's mad that they won, but at the same time, it's like he beat the Packers, so that's a good rivalry to get in.
No doubt.
Next game we're going to talk about, let's go to the Bills versus the Patriots. That one was a little bit closer to what I thought. Cam Newton does not look like the super Cam that everybody wants to see. He's going back to his old ways that we saw in Carolina the past couple of years. He can't throw the ball over 15 yards, but his running the ball, they had a chance to win right there at the end to put it in, and he takes it and he fumbles. Bills recover. They just run the clock out. So game over. They could at least send it to overtime if they didn't score because they were inside the 30. I'm pretty positive. So that one was a real close one. Josh Allen still struggling a little bit, versus good teams. Beginning of the year, he played the Jets and the Dolphins, and it was like lighting it up. The next 2 games were pretty average, and then he's just kind of going downhill. But I think he's a great quarterback. Bills got great running game. They gave both the running backs two 14 carries each. So each of them got 14 carries. Zach Moss, the rookie, got 2 touchdowns out of it. Devin Singletary got like 80-something yards with no touchdowns, but he was still a force in the backfield as well. So if you're giving both your running backs 14 carries each, you're doing something right running the ball. I just love the Bills, man. They play decent defense, and then their offense has a lot of weapons that you don't really hear too much about. Stephon Diggs, John Brown. John Brown was very quiet, but at the end of the day, they ended up getting the dub. It's a divisional win. Screw the Patriots. I know you don't have Tom Brady no more, but to you.
Dude, I said it was going to be close. I thought it was going to be close just because of what it was and who these two teams are. Cam Newton is still not impressed me at all right now. He's been struggling to try to figure out things and get things rolling. But I look at the stats right now, though. He threw more yards and rushed more yards than your boy Allen. Allen had an interception. Not comparing the two. I think Allen's a way better quarterback, but I think that was also the difference of the game for making it so close. You said Cam Newton had an opportunity to try to win the game and stuff like that. I just don't think he can do it no more. I just don't think he can control the game and take it over himself as of right now, especially with this team or with this system or whatever it is. I think Allen had an off night, but I feel like it was also because it's this game. It's the Patriots versus the Bills, so I wasn't expecting him to go out there and absolutely just demolish it. But it was a good game overall. I thought it was going to be a good game. Went Bills' way, but I don't know. Patriots going to have – I think, Bills are fine. I think Patriots still wind up struggling.
Yeah. So does Elgin. Elgin says the Pats are handicapped. They lack a lot of players. I mean, you losing Julian Edelman does not help at all. One of the best slot receivers.
They are handicapped as shit, so that's why.
But you saying that Cam can't do it no more is surprising to me. I thought you was on his high horse early in the season, but
I thought he was going to go crazy, and he's not going as crazy. I mean, his numbers ain't nothing special. He didn't throw interceptions, but he didn't throw a touchdown. He rushes for like almost whatever it was. It was pretty good percent rushing wise, but only throwing for like 160 something yards. I mean, that's not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Tanner thinks it's Josh McDaniels' fault. That dude is trash, the OC, and I'm gonna agree with you a little bit. Right? You got such an athletic, dynamic quarterback that you're not rolling out. Why don't we ever see Cam Newton rolling out of the pocket and throwing on the run? Why do we never see that? Why is he trying to be a pocket passer all the time? You can't throw the dang ball, bro. Like, at least give yourself an opportunity to maybe get 5 to 6 yards running somebody over. You're 6 foot, 6'6", 260 as a quarterback.
You got him for a year, too. You got him for a year. You can get rid of him after this year, and all things are gravy. Like, you got a year, quarterback power, quarterback trap, all this stuff. Like, let him get banged up. I love the dude, but he signed up to play football.
Yep.
Like you got him for a year. You're not trying to we don't want to make sure we get him hurt. Like, you ain't even gonna keep him after this year anyway.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the trade deadline brings for sure. To see if anybody changes big trades that happen. Trying to get these guys some young draft picks, maybe to get rid of. I don't know. In my opinion, there's like 5 or 6 rebuild teams for sure right now that should make big moves and try to get draft picks, but. It is what it is. I know I'm getting off topic of our picks and things like that, but whatever.
Okay. That's a good comment.
What's
the next one?
Next game, I'm gonna go because Tanner ended up saying Tannehill, Tua. God dang, all these T's. Tua. This was a shocker for all of us. Dolphins ended up upsetting the Rams, dude, out of anybody. But it ain't what you think.
God, the Rams was playing fumble rooski, dude.
Hey.
They could not hold on to the damn ball.
It was not what you would expect to happen. Tua really did struggle, Tanner. I agree.
Yeah.
But your defense comes up with those big turnovers like that, putting the rookie ain't even got to do nothing, dude. You got a good, solid football team. You're beating the Rams.
They did something like Hawaiian dance or something before the game because Miami's defense shut Rams down. And it's not like Tua came in there and was like, I put him on my back. I told y'all, and came back and won the thing or something like that. He just was like not shitty. And he did struggle at times, but that defense was in turnover, man. He turned the ball over, man.
4 times in the first half. I think that's the most all year or almost ever. 4 times in the first half.
You usually see the Rams turning the ball over like that? Damn sure not like that.
I've seen Goff turn the ball over a lot. Tanner, you're right. Goff is a dumpster fire, dude. Oh, my goodness gracious.
And I was giving him some praise last week, or not last week, earlier. I was like, and I think he's doing a little bit better, with the system and the software on it. But it doesn't matter when the dude's a freaking
Yeah.
idiot. I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was on.
I don't know what the Rams are doing. But Elgin says Fitzpatrick was shafted. Tua gets handed the job. I agree. I was on Fitzmagic's bandwagon, dude. I was like, dang, he's pulling this Dolphins team together. They got a good, solid defense. They might possibly make playoffs. Like, that's how I was thinking. And then that rookie, I know you want to get him playing time or whatever you want to do and try to get him.
Learn.
He still looked like a rookie, And obviously, Joe Burrow still looks like a rookie. But Tua looked, I don't know, dude. Just between him and Fitz.
You start him against Aaron Donald and them.
Hey, it paid out because the defense came to play. So, whatever.
I know, but why do you make that as a coach's decision? I don't get that decision.
I don't know. He is the future, so moving on.
Now, if he gets smacked like he did like the first series.
I didn't really watch that game, but I did see like all the turnovers because it was highlighted like, oh, Jared Goff screws up. Oh, Jared Goff, he fumbled and threw a pick. Oh my goodness, Jared Goff. He was everywhere for worse things.
Jared Goff on suicide watch.
Yeah. So it got out of hand fast. Rams tried to play catch up. It just ain't gonna work, especially when the defense for the Dolphins could just sit back and just wait for you to throw that thing. Rams offense is designed to be ahead and just keep moving the sticks. And when you got to come out from like that, it ain't working.
Yep.
Burrow can't slide Penner. I didn't get to see that one. Fitz needs to ask for a trade to the Pats. I like the Fitzpatrick trade to the Cowboys or the Pats. That's a big one that I think could possibly happen. But who knows? Dolphins might want to keep him just for injury's sake, right? They want to have some people to insurance is what I'm trying to say.
If I'm Fitzpatrick, I'm like deuces. However I can get the hell out of here, like let me know.
True. All right, so that one's going to bring it. Let's go ahead and talk about that one. We had the Titans get upset by the Cincinnati Bengals. Didn't see this one coming. I thought Joe Burrow was a pretty decent quarterback, I mean, he's pretty much struggled the whole year, but I knew he was going to catch fire because he's one of those kids that you see all the time. You get kicked, and then you get right back up, and then you go throw 5 touchdowns. That's what kind of personality I feel like Joe Burrow has. He's not going to be satisfied with being mediocre or anything. He's going to try to be the best, and that's what I love about that kid. Tennessee got a running game going, but Ryan Tannehill, man, he didn't look like the same Ryan Tannehill the past couple weeks. This is 2 losses in a row for Tennessee.
Yeah. His completion rate was ass. I mean, he threw 233, but he still gave him back the ball, too. He threw an interception as well. And like I told you, bro, in this league, turnovers, man.
What happened to all the pressure that the Titans were getting on everybody else? Like, Cincinnati's O-line isn't that good. But
at all.
They were making Tennessee look like freaking ragdolls out there. So
yeah, and then to the point when Henry had the game that he had, and Cincinnati having the defense that they had, and still being able to come out winning by 11. Yeah, that was a blindsider right there. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, I thought Tennessee was a little bit better team than what they showed. Is there any other turnovers in that game? I'm trying to look right now.
No, I've seen the pick.
There wasn't. So Tennessee's offense just was stalemated, I guess, and they had to punt a few times when they wanted to. You still feed Derrick Henry even if you're down just because it's Derrick Henry. That's probably why he got over 100 yards. But, damn, their defense couldn't stop the Bengals. So I didn't see that one coming. Blindsided. That's going to bring us to the next one. We got the Raiders playing the Browns. I don't know if you saw the wind, but it was like 30, 35 miles an hour. The passing had to be on a line you couldn't throw the ball over 20 yards because it was just going to get taken away by the wind. But the Raiders ended up coming on top. Josh Jacobs had over 30 touches. And if it's a running game, you take Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr out the equation, I'm choosing Raiders all day, even though Cleveland's – I mean, they've been doing well all year. I'm still going to choose those Las Vegas Raiders, baby. Because
in the tank, bro. It's about that time of the season where they start getting untalked about, unnoticed. It's about that time. And Raiders, I think, are like I told you, we got one team, Browns, talking about that I think they've hit their plateau, and now it's time for them to go down. I think Raiders still progressively get better. I don't know how far they go, but I think they consistently get better with what they're doing and their scheme and things like that throughout the year. I don't see them really getting worse. Not saying they'll win every single game, but I see them getting better. I see the Browns getting worse, and that's what that game was to me.
Yeah. Couple things I want to do. I do want to highlight. They got a bye week next week, so they're going to get healthy. Austin Hooper back. Odell's obviously gone for the season. Rashad Higgins, he got targeted, I think, 3 or 4 times. He's in place of Odell in that offense. So if he's still on your waiver wire, hey, I wouldn't mind snatching him up just because Cleveland's probably going to have to play from behind probably a lot more than what we think. And so Rashad Higgins is probably going to get some targets over Jarvis Landry. The rookie, Harrison Bryant, the tight end, he's behind Austin Hooper. That dude, he's pretty legit, man. I liked him. He's a rookie, 6'6", like 250. I think so. If Austin Hooper doesn't end up getting it done or panning out, then they have that young guy to rely on. He catches the ball very well.
What's wrong with running 2 tight end sets now? A lot of teams don't even do it anymore. I freaking love a 2 tight end set. And if you got 2 tight ends that can do it, hell. Yeah. You see Kansas City, they'll put 3 tight ends in that. Green Bay will put 3 tight ends in there sometimes.
So the Bucs.
So, yeah, I think he definitely, he definitely helps them. I like him too.
Yeah. Elgin commented, he said Baker is bad. He's hurting that football team. I do think Baker has a lot of highs and he has a lot of lows.
I do not disagree with that.
It's hard every week to week to see what he's actually going to do. So I think he's a good competitor, though. I think he'll come out fired up, trying to get the team rallied, and then he'll make some stupid-ass decision and turn the ball over. But it's the leadership.
He's a good athlete. He's a competitor. All this, yada, yada, yada. But I do not think he is a franchise quarterback that will be able to turn around a team, especially if you're trying to do it in Cleveland. That's not the answer.
It's hard in Cleveland.
It's not the answer.
So that's going to bring us to our next game. We got the Colts versus the Lions. Colts ended up handling business, taking the Lions out. Lions they struggled a lot versus the Colts, and the Colts defense is pretty dang good, man. I like the Colts defense. They ended up having a pick 6, I'm pretty sure.
They're on the radar.
And then the surprise was Jonathan Taylor not getting the bulk of the carries. Jordan Wilkins getting the bulk of the carries. Naeem Hines getting the catches out of the backfield. So what has actually happened with that rookie Jonathan Taylor? I have yet to notice. I have no idea. It could be next week that he ends up getting the start and then he logs all the carries. I'm not sure what the Colts are trying to do with that, but they need to make sure that they figure that out so it's somebody can catch a head of steam, and be hot going into maybe the end of the season where a playoff picture is real key. Yeah. What do you think about that game?
Well, I think with that right there, I think they're trying to do a little 2-back system right there, and I think they're going to just keep feeding the one that's given the most productive, because you had Taylor had 11 carries for 22 yards, which was about half of what the other guy was, Wilkins. He had 89 yards off of 20 carries and a touchdown, so he was averaging. I mean, the other dude had twice as much carries, but he was also averaging twice as much yards per carry. But I'm just happy anytime I get to see anybody in my division lose. At first, when the game, first quarter and stuff, I was like, damn, don't make this a close game or don't make me miss another one because this week and the first week screwed me in picks. So I'm like, come on, give me something, Colts. So they came back. Phillip Rivers was like, let me throw 3 on your ass and show you how an old man can do it. And that's what it was. The Colts defense are extremely sneaky under the radar, man. They are good. They're not maybe good. They are good, and they're not as getting as much credit as they should have. Still against a Lions team, but, it's a lot better than the Colts defense we've seen in the past few seasons for sure. So they've got it right over there. But, yeah, Colts put it on them, man, and I was happy to see it.
Yeah, you got Darius Leonard that came back as the linebacker, who's probably a top 5 linebacker in the league. So that's going to propel the Colts.
I think he's the best, dude.
From week to week for sure. And then I read Tanner's comment a little bit late. He said Baker is a poor man's Johnny Manziel, and he's like, I said what I said. And then he also saying Taylor is getting worn out from all the workload at Wisconsin. You know how Wisconsin is, though. Wisconsin gives those running backs at least 25 carries a game, at least. So I can see
my Big Ten team, and hell yeah, I watched him every game. Yeah. He was getting at least, like you said.
I can definitely see where it's kind of diminishing his body, so to speak, and he's not really progressing. Maybe just the workload is a little bit too much, but maybe that's why they kind of reeled him back in this week too, because it was the Lions. They didn't really need him. They might be trying to make a push at that trade deadline to get Jordan Wilkins out of there, and he obviously did a really good job. So any running back needy teams could possibly go for him. That's a smart guy. Yeah. So at the end of the day, Colts, they did what they needed to do, took care of the Lions. That was I thought the Lions might even have a chance. They were plus 11 on a mega teaser, and I ended up taking the plus 11, which didn't pan out. So got screwed this week again on the bets. Yeah, I agree, Tanner. He said the same thing started to happen to Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon still looks fast and young, though. I like what he did. He's gonna end up being somebody I talk about whenever the Broncos come up. But before we get to that, let's talk about the Jets versus the Chiefs. Patty Mahomes, those 5 TDs.
I ain't talking about that.
Made the Jets look like a JV football team. Sam Darnold can't get nothing done. They haven't scored a touchdown in I don't know how many quarters, but it's been a long time.
Easier for the Chiefs than practice.
Yeah. So
bro.
Adam Gase is an idiot. I want to go out and say that just because every week I say it.
Let's just go ahead and skip that game. I'm not even going. We don't even need to waste our breath on that game. That right there is like why they shouldn't even play them? They should be like, you know what? There's levels to this in the NFL. So like, y'all are a B team. Y'all shouldn't be playing the Chiefs.
The Rock's gonna call and be like, "You want to come to the XFL? All right, cool. I got you a contract." Next game, we're going to talk about. This one was an awesome, exciting game. We are going to talk about those Chargers versus the Broncos. I ended up picking the Broncos. Cheese ended up picking the Chargers. Last second victory, baby. Last second touchdown. Drew Lock came back.
1 point. Dude.
Hey, apparently he had one of the best halftime speeches to fire up the team, because they were down. They were down by like 2 or 3 scores. I think it was 3 scores.
Yeah, I quit watching. I was like, got that one in the bag.
Yeah. Well, he ended up coming back. Melvin Gordon ended up making this huge, spectacular catch for a first down right there at the end. And then, the clock's running out. Drew Lock gets the team together. Boom, boom, boom. Rolls out to the right. There ain't nothing there. He's rolling. I'm like, throw the Jake ball. Drew, just throw it. And then he threw it for a touchdown to KJ Hamler. I started going nuts. Nuts, dude. It was very exciting. I like Justin Herbert a lot, but
football great though, man.
Yeah, I do think that all these divisional games were a lot closer than what people would think, and the Broncos should have won. But at the end of the day, it's the NFL, man. Big players make big plays.
Over now, it don't matter. They won. Yeah. I agree with you. That one hurt me. And that's why I like what we're doing right now, because I've never sit there and watched the Chargers-Broncos game. Was like, let's go, come on. Like, I'm going crazy in my room off of something that I don't even pull for, Yeah.
That was an exciting game, dude. I watched that one. That was one of the later games. Then, moving on, we got the Saints versus the Bears. The Bears couldn't get it done in overtime. I wish the Saints would have lost, but at the same time, that's who we picked.
Thank you, Saint.
It was really close. Drew Brees did what he needed to do. He had a pretty good game. Alvin Kamara is just going off this year. Alvin Kamara is probably the best all-around running back. He's taking the Christian McCaffrey role.
That's what Tennessee is, bro. Like, they didn't even hardly use that kid in Tennessee. Like,
you're talking about the college.
Yes. Tennessee, because that dude is a freak. He's an elite player to me.
You need to go watch his there was a special on him and Cameron Jordan did like this little podcast show, and they were talking about how Kamara came up and he was in a JUCO, and then this coach was saying, you need to play right here, we can get you out, yada yada, and then he ended up saying, no, I'm not gonna play, because there was some situation. I don't know. Go watch it. That was pretty cool. You can probably find it on YouTube.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It is a dope video. I can't remember what he said to the T, but it was some ball shit.
Like, screw that. I ain't playing for you. Or some,
Yeah, he was some ball stuff.
Yeah, he was third string. But he's like the Christian McCaffrey of last year. He's the leading receiver on the Saints. He's the leading rusher on the Saints. The Saints putting Taysom Hill, they're putting him in a lot more lately. Yeah. Running the ball as a quarterback, and they put him as an X receiver, and he caught him a touchdown pass. Yeah. So he's the Swiss Army knife of the Saints. I like that kid a lot.
And this is what drives me crazy, bro, because when you said that, I noticed it. So he was just 2 receptions for 30 yards, averaging 15 yards a reception with a touchdown. But then look at his like he's a situational player, and every time he's in, he does good. He was 5 carries for 35 yards, averaging 7 yards a carry.
Yeah,
like he barely got in, but when he got in, like he he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Unstoppable. That's crazy.
It's just another wrinkle in that offensive package they got going on over there in New Orleans, and it's hard to stop because you get that extra blocker, right? Your running back turns into the fullback, and quarterback now can just run you over. It's basically mano a mano. You win a double team, you're basically getting 3 to 4 yards if he hits the hole. So I like what they're doing. I hate it because it's in our division and we got to play them. But at the end of the day, Drew Brees, I love you. You're on my fantasy.
That's all it takes for me to love you.
Yeah, exactly. Next game we're gonna go to. This was a pretty exciting one too for one player specific, 2 players specifically. 49ers versus the Seahawks.
Russell.
Yeah. DK and Russell is the best quarterback receiver tandem in the league right now. I'm going out on a limb and saying that. Russell's MVP. DK Metcalf. God, that guy's a freak. Calvin Johnson 2.0 for sure.
I can't see you guys do it, but they're freaks of nature, bro.
Who's better?
I think Russell Wilson wouldn't lay down.
You gonna say Rodgers and Devontae Adams? No,
I don't know, but probably yes.
Okay.
They just they connected for 3 touchdowns, and they've been doing this shit week by week. I know we lost, but damn, we're not talking about that.
Mm. Well,
that's a great connection.
Some big things happened. We had Jimmy G go out. We had George Kittle go out. And then Nick Mullins is actually coming in, and he did some pretty decent stuff. You know, this is the second time that he's kind of been thrown under the center after Jimmy G goes down, and he produced. Jermichael Hasty was the running back that was getting more of the carries. Huh?
238. Where was that when Jimmy G was hurt the first time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a divisional game. They probably have more film on the Seahawks. They know how to beat them just because it's divisional. You know how those games go. They're pretty high scoring.
That dude threw for 238 and 2 touchdowns. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, another rookie for Seattle, DJ Dallas, ended up coming in and getting a lot of carries, and he ended up scoring. I don't think his average was that great, but
2.3.
But he came in there. He was giving them a little relief from Carlos Hyde being out and Chris Carson. So he did what he needed to do. They ended up winning.
Bro.
Seattle.
That dude's a monster.
Yeah, they took care of business. A couple rookies on the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver that they drafted, he balled out. I think we were talking really good things about him on the last podcast. And then Jermichael Hasty, he didn't average too much that well, but he did score. And I like that kid a lot. I just think they were like, oh, they're going to run the ball because it's the 49ers. And so they blitzed every single gap. And you know how that goes. If you ain't got play action or whatever. So how's it going? So we got Tanner comment on there. He thinks Brees on his last leg. Yeah, Brees has a contract with, I think, NBC with being a sports announcer for all next year. He might cancel it. I don't know what's going to go on in his brain. Rodgers Adams is best duo, of course. Y'all biased.
That's not. DK Metcalf is a freak receiver right now. I don't think he's elite yet, but this is a fact. Chad Johnson, I think, even had tears in his eyes when he watched the film. Devontae Adams has the best release out of any receiver in the league. I'm not going to say he's the best receiver in the league because I ain't got time for that. But he has the best release in the league. So that's why I give it to him on that one. But will there in time, if Russell and Metcalf stay together, please, dude. Ain't nobody stopping them after a few.
You almost cussed on the show. Ooh, I seen it. It almost rolled off your lips.
Jesus, let me.
Yeah, right. I've been cussing like crazy on the list.
I got amped up for a second. I got to bring it back down.
Tanner, I agree. Adams is underrated, but not underrated because he does get love. He does have Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback that's going to force feed him the ball. I agree with you, Josh. I watched a film on the NFL Network, basically how he approached the game and how he gets open and things like that, and it was amazing. I wanted to record it and send it to all my players because it was just the things he's talking about. He's so smart, you know. So that one is what it is. We're not talking about the Green Bay Packers. They ended up losing.
Yeah, they lost. They suck. Move on.
Yeah, moving on. Last game of the day before we get to our key matchup tonight, we had the Cowgirls versus the Eagles. Hot diggity dog.
I was waiting all day for that game. I swear to God. No, I'm just kidding. I can't even say that because that's a total lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even watch this one.
Oh my gosh. I watched it. Ben DiNucci is an idiot. Oh my goodness gracious. He's throwing sidearm passes. He's trying to be the next Patty Mahomes. He ain't even close to Patty Mahomes. They tried to run Zeke. I don't know. I watched the first.
Maybe Patty Mobile Home.
Yeah.
trash.
Oh god. They at the very beginning of the game, I'll get back to you in a second. At the very beginning of the game, they were just running reverses. Like they didn't even give the ball to the quarterback. Zeke went back in there as Wildcat. He went back as Wildcat, and then they ran all these little reverses. Fletcher Cox ended up like slamming some wide receiver at like the third or fourth reverse because he was just in the backfield ready for it to happen, and then just boom, knocked his ass out. Needless to say, they didn't trust Danucci to get it done. He looked very sketchy back there, like he was nervous. Obviously, it's probably your first start. You didn't even know he was going to be playing. You signed off this practice squad coming in for Dallas Cowboys, who's America's team, you know, and
That
he was
dude
just
like,
trash.
oh shit, like y'all really want me to go out there and throw the ball? Like y'all for real? Like I was about to just chill for a little bit. Like y'all really want me to do this? That's what it looked like, man. That dude looked like a deer in the headlights on methamphetamines. Like, did you see his eyes? He was so scared the whole time. He was like, like, bro, I don't know if he wants to play football anymore. And that's crazy.
Yeah. On the other side of the ball, you know, Fulgham, the receiver that kind of came out of nowhere to refill all these guys getting hurt for the Eagles, he had a pretty good game. Carson Wentz still looks like trash. Carson Wentz, at the beginning, too, was holding on to that ball so long. Like, this guy's blitzing.
He needs to go.
Jeez, I'm telling you, the outside linebacker, right, sitting in the flats, you see him. He's rolling out on a bootleg or something, and he's looking down the field. There's only 3 receivers in the route, by the way. I don't know what kind of play calling this is. All 3 receivers went the opposite way of where he was rolling. Didn't even work back to the quarterback or nothing, right? So he's sitting there.
Let's run drag left with a backside bootleg right.
He's sitting there beating the football off, right? Over here looking for somebody, looking for a receiver. And this guy in the flats, I'm telling you, 5 seconds have passed while he's rolling. He comes running at Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, all he has to do is throw the damn ball away. Just throw it out of bounds. You're outside the pocket. Get it out. You're playing like a dang rookie, dude. And then he gets rocked. 5 seconds pass, and he was just like, and then he gets rocked, fumbles, dude. Oh, it was bad. Those teams are
made him shit himself.
Those teams are bad. The NFC East is so trash. I agree. Sign Kaepernick, start Jalen Hurts, do something. Get that quarterback out of there.
Get out. He's done.
Going back to your comment, Tanner, you got to coach receivers. You're going to show them film of Adams and Fitzgerald. Those are great guys to watch. If you notice on that PowerPoint I sent you, there's this Riley football thing. It's like a link. It's on like the 4th or 5th slide that I made. Go look at that because it actually shows you certain releases and certain coverages. It's off and on. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. But, yeah, dude, that's what I show my receivers all the time. And you just give yourself 2 ways goes, get off the press, all that shit. So, all that's the recap of Week 8. It was a very exciting week of football. Always is. There's always something good. And then you have tonight's game, the Bucs versus those NFC East Giants. Who you got? Tell me what you're thinking over there.
Let's go Giants! Just kidding. Nah, Tampa Bay definitely. Tampa Bay definitely. I'm definitely picking Tampa Bay on this one. Just I want Blake Martinez to have a good game. But besides that, I think that's it. I think the firepower that they have right now, Tom Brady is going to be able to see it as hey, this is a stepping stone. This is an easy dub. We have to come in here. There's not no easy dub in the NFL unless you're playing the Jets. I don't know. There might be now. I don't know, sitting here thinking about it. But, I mean, they got to go in there and say, hey, this has got to be a win. This has got to be a breeze through. This has got to be a chance for all of us to get our stats up, to do what we're supposed to do and show them that we're not no fluke or anything like that. They've been playing good. I think they continually play good. Daniel Jones, he makes some plays where we're kind of like, oh, okay, man, that kid's pretty good, but it's not enough to win the ball game or anything like that. Especially with Tampa's defense, because Tampa's defense is scary too. They really are. And so yeah, I can't even find things to talk about that game.
Tanner said 35 points. The Bucs win by.
Dude, they should go in there and literally put it on them. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it should be the Chiefs and the Jets game. Again, that's what it should be if these teams are where I think it needs to be. Now, I think the Giants are better than the Jets. They might score maybe a little bit more than 9, but I don't know with that Tampa Bay defense. So I think it's also a game like that. We should see Tom Brady throwing 4 to 5 touchdown passes, getting it in. Big Gronk. I don't think he gets. I think he's awakening. And I watched some things about him, and they were he went in later than anybody, and so it was taking him a while to get used to it and get back into the running shape. And he's running routes, and if he's not running routes, he's blocking. Yada yada yada. Now I think he's starting to hit his stride a little bit too, which is freaking scary. So
yeah. Well, Tanner also misses Blake Martinez. He said he misses Blake Martinez for you too.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm not gonna get on that.
The Giants' defense is starting to come together. I will say that. I don't think they're going to be any match for the Bucs, but that NFC East run that could possibly happen because the leader is 3 wins, and I think the Giants are like 1 or 2 behind. So I think that could be potentially, if they get that defense together and Daniel Jones actually gets some blocking, they might make some noise in the NFC East and then have a little late run for the playoffs. But who am I? I'm just a guy.
Dude, NFC East might suck, but watch it be the funnest showdown for divisional games toward the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because it could be anybody's game.
Exactly.
That's going to be crazy.
But, yeah, I'm with you. Bucs win this game. I don't know about 35. Holy cow, this is still the NFL tenor. Yeah, you said probably closer to 21. That's more realistic. You got Mike Evans probably going to go off today versus a weak Giants secondary. He is playing James Bradbury, who was with Carolina.
Let's talk about this. When does AB get to play? He's signed.
Next week. It's not even this week.
Next week?
Yeah. So you got James Bradbury, who's played in Carolina. He had to play the Bucs, so he knows how to guard Mike Evans. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shut him down because you can't really shut Mike Evans down, to be honest with you. But I think he'll limit him. I think he'll play him very well. He's a soft man, soft zone kind of corner, and Mike Evans would only be able to basically moss him, in my opinion. I think they'll put him on an island. But, Tom Brady distributes the ball pretty well. They run the football when they're up. I think that's just what it's going to be. Daniel Jones is going to have to make sure that he doesn't get killed this game, and then we'll see if everybody escapes out alive. So I hope Tom Brady eats dirt, though. I want y'all to know that. I want Tom Brady to eat
dirt. They watch this show. They know that. Like, by a week. Let me rewind this. Why? So what's the thing with AB? Why does he have to wait?
He's got to have a certain number of practices, I think. It's just like us.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he's signed. He's on the team.
I know that. I mean, shit, we're going back to high school. We got to have 3 days in helmets and 5 days in helmets and shoulder pads. And then on that 7th day, we can hit, boys.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what it is. All right, that's cool.
I think it is one of those. But all right, guys. So you got our picks. We recapped this last week. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for gaming. I might do some Madden. I might do some Call of Duty back in the day, or I might do Pounds. I'm still up in the air. I want to know what you guys think. I will be sending out the questionnaire for next week's Week 9 matchups. So make sure you are tuning into that and filling it out for us so we can see what you guys are thinking. Other than that, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. All the good stuff on YouTube. Yeah, Tanner likes Paladins. Okay, Tanner. We try to turn you on to that game.
So what you play on? You need it's cross-play. You might as well get on.
Yeah. It's a little bit it's interesting. Like I said, it's strategic. If you play, let's go. Anyways, this is Cheetah and the Cheese. We out.